Okay, the call is being recording. I'm gonna turn it off my camera as well so can get a little more speed. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for to the participation in this call as we are preparing to the end of our course. This call, I'm gonna be once we finish, I'm gonna download um, this recording on our model number 6 right here. So I'll be downloaded here. Also gonna send an email with the link to everyone about this call. So today, what I wanna show and share with you is a couple examples of presentations I've been working in the past, using data and make visual to present for a large group and global on my professional experience. So we're going to start sharing here. I have 3 presentations that I want to share. One of them is this one. I'm going to make a little bigger. And I'll not go in the details of the content because this is pretty much like 3.5 years of work. This project I'm working since 2016, 17, 18, and 19. And this was a $2 million project that I was leading. And then I work, and you can imagine I was collecting data from different sources, a lot of Excel, a lot of very similar what our first exercise using some flavors ingredients and some sales related to those ingredients. And then we did some survey. We used some mass data that we can buy from some marketing companies, of course, from some vendors, from customers. And then we once we launch the project globally to our organization, which covers about 10,000 people on that organization I was working. And this is only internal presentations that we did for customers. We present a short version and we took some of the financials that's only for internal, for example, the margin we were making, etc. But I like to show the flow tonight as we are preparing your presentations for the case study number 2, which you will be present. You're gonna be don't need it to present it in a video or record. You just need to submit the PowerPoint. But I want to show the flow I used before, and I have 3 examples today. I think it'll take 30 minutes to go through. Not gonna be focused on the content. Will take a longer time to understand what we really try to accomplish here. But the flow, the quality of the presentation, the visual we use, this I think will be a great insights for you, not only for the case studies, but moving forward for any presentations you have in the future. And this is real. This is really a real world presentation. So I was accountable for this project, so I have to present to the entire organization. A lot of stakeholders was waiting for this project, and there was the grand finale where we did present this globally. Just to put in context, one of the presentations I had to do was in China, for China in East Asia. So I have to wake up 2 in the morning to do the presentation. So that happened in a real world. So going forward, this was C2020 means a citrus 2020. So we were preparing to launch this in 2020, and we did it. Was around the sustainable ingredients, citrus for flavors and fragrances. Typically, we use a lot of natural products that comes from the oranges, but there are some natural from biotechnology and artificial ingredients that can replace in same applications. That's the big picture of this project. And then I have to present the findings and the conclusions, and of course, what you're going to be delivering in terms of revenues and return for this investment. We invested over $500,000 in this project in resources, and then we were expecting to return $2 million in a couple of years. So basically, we started the presentations with the agenda, and you can see here already the visual. So we have the project background and objectives. That was the first. I made some suggestions already through the last few days to add it to some of the presentations. On the presentations of the case study number 2 of the baseball, what's the goal? What we are trying to accomplish? Typically, that's the way we start the presentations. Then we introduce here some natural molecules. What is our positioning? Sharing some success histories as we were deploying this project, and then a demo launch package here, next steps. And you can see here, again, our highlighting the objective of the project, some pretty good visuals in terms of what is this is related to a chemical extraction. So our biotechnology, we use some symbols that reflected that. A thumbs up given okay that is similar sensor profile to the natural ingredients, and then using a symbol of monetary, which is the cost effective, which is the benefit we are bringing inside the company. So you can see some visual effects here that help you to deliver the message. Then going here, this is very interesting because remember on the beginning of the course, I asked on the quiz to translate the timeline of the data visualization material we are analyzing. So every single project to present the background and timeline is very important. And we use it this way. Some of you during that quiz, I think was the first quiz, use a similar way to visualize a timeline, and that's the way we used it back in 2019. So I use some orange slices here, put some timeline, and add more informations in a box. So it's a lot of things we can do, and it's very, very important for anything we want to present. What's the timeline? For example, for the case study you are working on, you can make one slide showing the timeline of the coaching, when they initiate the project, and when we're gonna do, what's the timeline until they accomplish that goal. Timeline is very important because time is the more valuable resources in anything we are trying to accomplish, right? Big fails in projects, big fails when we're doing something is because they're lacking of the right time. So it's important always to show the timeline, because it's pretty much 100% that in one point of everything you're trying to accomplish, you're going to run short in time, and we need to explain why, what's the reasons and to mitigate, what would be the mitigation if you don't have that time resource. So this is important, and that's the reason why I asked you in the first quiz to do some timeline exercise. This is a good example. Then I'll talk about project streams. This project has several streams, work streams, and for today, you see this is the focus. So very visual, very quick. You can see what we are working, and for the presentation we are doing on that time, this was the focus that we were present. So you start to flow your presentation in a visual way that really helps the audience to understand what you are trying to say. So going again, I repeated the agenda, and now going to the second block, right? First agenda here, I highlight what you will be covering in the next few slides. Now I finish, now I go to the second block. So the second block, This was the original wish list at the beginning of the project. There were some adjusted through the project that we needed to adjust some of the initial wish list of materials, and then show what was introduced, what was under introduction, and what was still in development. So use the colors here to show the progress. Again, a little bit about timeline here, how we are moving with that project. And then in the next few slides, I go quick here, we start to show some data. So now Excel chart, and we highlight what will be, with that color, what was the percentage of that material. And then additional information to support what this chart is trying to tell us. A lot of chemistry here. There's some codes of materials, very similar to one of the exercises I gave you. I think it was in the quiz number 2 or 3, where I asked, we had some SKUs codes, and you guys will work on that. So that is a very visual way, and then goes to the next one. Here we wanted to highlight the 2 of those ingredients associated to this material. So on that case, as is a chemical ingredient, we present the formula. This is internal. 30% promo means there are incentive to use at 30%, which we're gonna end up help the KPIs of the people that is creating flavors using those materials. And then a suggestion to try those ingredients in formulas of foods and beverages. So some examples here, and then we go to the next. I go quick here. This one is very interesting. Let me spend some time here, because this chart is called spy chart. Spider chart, sorry, because the spider looks like a spider net. You can make this on using Excel. This is very interesting because we were developing an ingredient that ended up in a flavor, and we want to compare the ingredient that was artificial or natural, compare with something that came from the orange fruit that's 100% natural, came from the natural. And then we can see the performance in different attributes. And then we compare one flavor using the material that comes from the orange, the other that comes from a synthetic, from a chemistry. And then you can see the differences in terms of pili profile of that flavor. You can see that the natural that comes from the fruit is a little more intense than the one that is artificial. So this chart can be used for anything, not only for flavors, for anything, and it's called spider chart. You see that visual, very, very interesting. You can define some attributes and compare 2 things that we wanted to compare. Maybe 2 players playing baseball, you can put the attributes around that and see the performance of one player. If the performance is better when this is closer to the attribute, so you clearly can see where that player, based on the attributes you define, which player will be better performance or not. So take a note, spider chart is very interesting, and it's a good tool to be used in any analysis you want to do. So go quick again. So some more charts here. A good advice here: don't need to stick to what Excel produce. So Excel give you the scales, the relationship to your axis, but you can play around the highlighted things like here. You can really take your message to the point of the charts we want. You can hide things on the chart, so you can play around with the chart, really to make it visual on the way. This is another spider chart showing here. So let's go. This is another example that we can play with the Excel. So this chart is a bar chart made in an Excel. This is a relative cost. And then what I did here, this is the actual cost, dollar per kilograms on the example. And then I add here, this is not done by the chart, it's just we insert a text here. What's the purity? That arrow show this is the purity. One is 80% purity, the other one is 95. And then again, another text box showing that difference was 17%. So the net was 17% low cost than compared with the FTNF here. That means from the name in the fruit. So you can play with your chart. Don't need it to just, copy and paste in what the Excel is doing, because once you have the chart done, then you can put a lot of information around that chart. I think that's clear, right? Even tables. So you can make tables nice with colors. Like here is showing some regulatory status. You can make screenshot. Of course, you guys done this before, and highlight here. This is another table that we use colors to show what is the availability in different regions in the world. This again, other using a lemon, so we stay tuned for what is on the introduction process, so other materials here, and then so on. Remember in the agenda, going back to agenda, so now we'll cover all the ingredients. So we are talking about our positioning here, so what you are trying to accomplish in a visual way. I love to use those symbols that help, to deliver the message. Some success sharing, then we start to show, for example, I've showed this slide because it's some of those ingredients we can, was using to make flavors on those Florida Naturals light lemonade. So you can actually buy and find this in a grocery store that was done using this project. That's pretty cool. This is very interesting. So I like this chart. Actually, a marketing manager in New Jersey helped us to put this chart together. It's a reformulations, kind of what's the process. Basically, here is showing what take the process to reformulate a flavor, and what was the benefit in terms of savings by doing that, which relate with a lot of people in different organizations. This all happens work in the matrix organizations. So it's a structured collaborative approach, including several areas inside the organization. So if one doesn't take as a priority, nothing happened. So that was the goal of this chart, showing that we need help, to accomplish for one specific work here, $500,000 in savings. So when you presented this to the president of the company, and he see opportunity to save $500,000, he really tell the people, okay, help Beto, help him, make this a priority. We wanted to save $500,000 with 2 ingredients. So that's the trick we use, and that was the way we found to visually show and get the resources and the help we need. So this is another example. Again, it's a table, but you can play, you can add texting here, right? I add texting box, everything to help you deliver your message. Let me switch. Any question for so far? Any comments you guys want to make it, or want to switch to other presentation? Okay. This is another one. This is a natural claim design. This is for understanding consumer. This is a little older presentations, but I saw some interesting visual way to present. So let me go through this. Talk about what is the objective of this studies, what they are proposing, how the study gonna work with the consumers. Again, not gonna go in details. What the study is gonna be cover. So we really preparing the the goals and the objectives, what you are trying to accomplish and how you are trying to accomplish. Um, Again, the methodology, you can explain how, where, who, and what methodology we working to do the project. So this could be used for the baseball. So you can make one slide explaining what will be the methodology to get data to help the coach to make decisions. I like this one. So they pretty much build your chart, right? It's not done by Excel, but you can put in a proportional and 17, 20, 22%, use some arrows, some bars that proportionally show the magnitude of this and use some symbols. I think I like that visual. It's sometimes it's better than just using a chart made by Excel or PowerPoint. So this is another example here. I'll go quicker here. Well, this is just pretty much a copy and paste from Excel, but works, right? They are showing different categories and differences in the flavor water, yogurt, bouillon cubes. So they show the percentage here. So that helped to do the message. And then, of course, conclusions. I suggest to put some conclusions on that case study number 2 you are working right now. So at the end, you show the objective, the goals, what you're trying to accomplish, show the data, show the conclusions on based on that data, make that data visual, and then what will be your conclusion at the end. So that's typically the flow. I'm sure you guys have been done this kind of presentations through your courses. Additional considerations. Again, here, so they decided you can make a bar chart here, but they decided just to build some little dots with the number inside. So works. It's not every time we needed to use a chart. So they use a chart here, 30. This is pretty much a chart done in Excel. They had, but they decided to, put the average by type using just writing this data. So that's a great example. It's not always chart made by Excel that you needed to use. Okay. So they, that was the approach they use, and they've been consistent through the presentations, just following the approach they choose to present some of the data. You see this repeat more and more. This is another one that's very cool. I like it. You see a lot of data here, a lot of data for strawberry, lemon, mango, vanilla, probably, I guess. And then different products and the percentage. Natural FTNF is the #1 claim. So I'm not going to be worried about what they are presenting here, but the way they present is very interesting. So that's a good example for you guys. This is another one. They continue. They always put a chart, but add more information to help the presentation. So everything here is more like a background. This is the same. So that's another one for vanilla. This is vanilla, strawberry, blueberry, and mango. Okay. This is another one split by age split. So they are talking about consumers, right? From 18 to 34 years old, 35 to 54. This is in French. Firmenich is a Switzerland company. But yep, that's another way. Okay, let me go to another example. And I think it is here. Let's see. Second. Um, this is the last example. I want to show a few slides here. Sorry, this is in Portuguese, but that's what I've been working in the last 2 years. And this work was done with Boston Consulting Group. There are some very good examples. It's in Portuguese. Don't worry about what is written, but again, a timeline. They start right away with a timeline. Chronogramma means timeline. So they put the three categories here: market, chain, and options, and then goes to different weeks. Just pay attention the way another timeline on different steps of the processing they use. Very nice way to present. Again, they use symbols. We're gonna see some charts later. Let me just go quick. A nice table here. I like that table. They make very visual. There are some checks on different steps that they cover here, right? They cover 7 steps. Now they continue the message checking for different categories. They select which of the steps these parameters are involved. So that is a kind of a 2-dimension table. Let me find some charts here. This is another steps. Sorry. Oops. This is another steps, and they use some pictures of the equipment used in those processing steps. So a chart. You guys was working on the case study number one, and the portfolio that I gave you some ingredients to do some charts. I talked about to do a 2 y-axis. So this is a great example used by Boston Consulting Group. You have the bars that is related to this y-axis, and you have the line related to this y-axis. So you have a lot of information in one chart, make it easy to read. Easy to explain. I like this way as well. They do some correlations between raw materials and ingredients produced to they got what is the benefit in terms of $1 million here. So they take a 2 approach and just to go showing instead to just through numbers. So very easy to explain what they are trying to explain here on that way. Similar here, they give you some context and what the arrow just connected the context to the benefits. Let's find some more charts. Another chart, that's a nice chart because they don't even show any, arrow for the y-axis or x-axis. They just put in a clean space the bars and the line, but tells a lot. And then they add some information, some additional information here, and then some of those circles and inside some numbers, so that help they present what they are trying to present. Another chart, just a line chart, but they create some regions. There are some statistics here that they are share, some standard deviations. So they wanna to present that, so that colors help to show what is the median of those trends. Another good chart here. So a bar chart made in Excel, but with additional box that help to present you what and explain those differences. And then that's a nice way also to reach the conclusions of that chart. Another one highlighting this point. Another one. So this one they add a line. So this was the chart was done in Excel, but they add a line here, which is kind of a threshold that they're trying to show for 5,000 metric tons of products. So they put some thresholds. This is very interesting. Very good when you try to do capex or opex, operational cost or initial investments. Typically, when we invest and we start to make some products, your revenue is negative because you are paying your investment, but you wanted to see how many years it start to be positive, and then if you can have other dimensions here, other things related to that. Sometimes we invest again, become negative, but that's a nice way to show, especially for capex and opex. I almost finishing another one. I like charts when you talk about some organizations. You can add the logos on the bar. That's what they are trying to do here. The stack bar chart to show how is split those benefits. So this is very, I'm working with this right now. We are implementing what we learned from that data. We are implementing now. We are doing the investments. We are working acquisitions. We are working to establish a processing plant using all these data that Boston Consulting Group help us to understand. So decisions, strategic decisions, financial decisions was made based on that chart that you are seeing right now. So another chart, just gonna scroll down so you guys can have a visual. Very nice. Some flow of the benefit. What's the revenue you're expecting for a couple ingredients here. Another chart. This is more in terms of cost and OPEX, operational cost. This shows, they draw some gaps based on some variables they were were looking for. That's EBITDA. There's a lot of information here. Just want to show visually, you guys can be inspired for this case student and if any future work you'll be working on. So here again, they use a lot of logos of companies on the categories they were trying. So very nice. And then this shows some additional informations and then the message relates to the chart. So this is a very nice chart. This very nice slide. This one. You can cover a lot of things in one chart. So again, okay, I'm gonna stop here. Go back. Oh. So that's pretty much what I want to cover for this week and 6 on our lecture. This is why I call the live call. I'm gonna be downloaded that recording, so you guys have till April 28th to prepare a presentation. I hope the examples I give you are gonna inspire inspire the groups to make it visual and give you some ideas. Of course, I'm sorry I cannot make these examples I just show available. This is proprietary, confidential. I know I'm recording, but after the class, I'm gonna be deleted that recording because this cannot be, use external. This is just a real world example that I want to take the opportunity to show you and inspire you on the work you're doing right now. So that's what I have today. We can, if you don't have any questions, any comments, or if you want to reach me out later through emails, or just put me on the subject of the email, which group are you working, and send us any question. If you want to send a draft to me ahead of the time, just for my review, I'll be happy to do. I think that's the best way we can work together, and then I can make comments. But I think you understand what we are trying to accomplish based on that paper from one for several pages on a publications. We wanted to make a nice PowerPoint visual showing the data, showing the objective, what they are trying to accomplish, and translated that paper in a nice visual way to understand that work that was done. So thank you. It's 42 minutes. If anyone have any comments or question, please do now. Otherwise, you're gonna finish the call. Okay, have a good evening, and looking forward to see the good work you guys are going to present next week and submit next week. Again, don't need to present it, don't need to record a video present it, just you need to submit the PowerPoint for me for review and grading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.